Hey everyone, this is Melvin from CODutility.com, and I'm here to give you guys another tutorial. This is the BlackOps 3 mapping and modding tutorial series I've been working on, tutorial number 15. And we're talking about custom textures, part 1, seamless textures, textures in the APE, the Assets Property Editor. And yeah, well, let's get right to it. What we're going to talk about today, give me 1 second here. I'm getting dry throat, so I had to get a drink. We're looking at Photoshop first. Okay, so we're going to cover a couple programs today that aren't necessarily included. You can use alternatives to these programs, but they're the programs I've found the easiest to use. Crazy Bump is a program that people can find as a 30-day demo for free that should be able to do most of these maps, if not all of them now. I haven't checked on it in a while, but just look up a Crazy Bump if you don't have the program that I'm using, which is bitmap to material, or you don't want to fork out the bucks. Or you don't want to use their free trial and then remove the watermarks manually. But Crazy Bump is a decent program and can give you specular channel. It can give you definitely normal maps, and it can give you the regular diffuse map, which is your color map or the picture you'll see on your screen right now. Now, how did I get this picture here? This picture was made from another picture that you will see over here hidden underneath this one here, which is one that I used a filter on this one here. No, I don't think this one here can be undone. Yeah, no, it can't. Okay, so basically what this picture here was a picture basically where I used a couple filters. Okay, so let's show you what these filters are. Up here, I used a filter called Other, which is the offset. And this allows, you can see here, this is what the texture used to look like. 2048 texture that I cut out of another texture that was actually 1200 by 1600. So the first process would take the 1200 by 1600 image, cut it with a cropping tool, one by one. And you can see the cropping tool over here. It's self-explanatory. It will come up here when you click. Let's just show you real quick. When you click cropping, it gives you the option to go one by one. 16 by 9, I choose one by one. Crop my image. Okay, so hit escape on that. And then basically what we do is we go up into the filter section. Then we go up into the others and then offset. And we take a 2048 by 2048 texture after resizing it through the image size. That's self-explanatory. We size it to 2048 by 2048. This allows us to split the image using the offset filter at a 1024 by 1024. Since I've already did that, I'm going to cancel, and that's going to show you what it would do. And here you can see it creates these hard lines. We're going to use tools to fix those lines. As you can see here, I've used these tools to fix the lines using these tools here, which is the spot healing brush, the healing brush tool, and the patch tool. Those are the ones I use mostly. You can use the other tools or test them. I don't really use them. But as you can see here, what you can do here, first off with the spot healing tool, is you can hold down Alt. Oh, sorry, that's the wrong one. Spot healing tool is automatic. Yeah, first off, we're going to do a healing brush tool. Healing brush tool, you want to grab a selection from in the map that you want to use by holding down Alt, left clicking and dragging, either horizontal or vertical. And that will allow you to start from where you started. As you can see here, if I started up here, Alt, left click, drag it, you can see the image starts over there. And what that does is it creates anywhere in here that I want to paint and try and fix something by using, in a sense, a copy of that space will be amplified onto the map. Control Z undoes that. So here we have a space here we might want to heal. So we're going to go in here and fix that. And I don't know if I like that, so we're going to, Control Z to undo, Control Alt Z to step back several times. And so maybe for this space here, we're going to take a Alt, left click, again drag, and we're just going to go in here, give that a little bit of spot. Looks a lot better. That space is gone. Kind of looked like an eyeball before, right? Okay, so we're going to do those kind of tools. You can see we've got that space here again, so we're going to come back down here, cover that one up, and it looks uniquely different than this space up here, even though it really is the same space. So this will help you use a small amount of space to make a whole texture. You can actually take a small space and replicate, and then go in here and shape over time till you get an entire texture. For this purposes, we're not going to go too crazy. We're going to play with the texture. Okay, so as you see, the colors are different. I've already ran a desaturation on the textures. And why have I done a desaturation? Well, this allows it to work better in game because, as you can see in this texture here, you have lighting coming at different angles. Hard whites here, you have lighter here, and this doesn't look so much or so good in the game because the camera's not going to catch lighting evenly. It's going to catch lighting as it's actually represented, and that's actually what PBR or physically based rendering does. It tries to take a texture like this and give you the proper reflections and lighting. Remember that you can only get so much specular off of a map. As much light that's in the map in the area is only as much a reflection as you can really get off of it, in a simple way to say it. So we're going to basically try to make a texture that's going to be easy to use once we import it, if that makes any sense, I think. Okay, so anyways, what we're doing now is we've got a seamless texture, and we've done a bunch of fixes, as you can see here, maybe a little bit more there. There's some spaces in here you could really get into if you really wanted to. You know, in here there's a little bit of a blur spot. You can come in here, take this, and then you could come in like so. Come in and just keep making it like so. So it blocks out, and then you would take this over here and just come in here and fill in that space, and you can see it would start to fill in. And then again, you might want to take this area here and come in and put a little bit of a black line. And so I'm just going to do a few of these so you guys can get a gist of what's going on. So when you pull back, you can see more of the rock. Again, no one's going to be up to the texture with the nose planted in it like this, or at least most players won't be. So you can actually get away with little details and little shifts and things like this, and you can see that rounds out. It's pretty good. That actually rounds up pretty nicely. Okay, so we're going to take this texture as it is right now, just for the purpose of showing you guys how I do this. Simplest way I would do it would be just to go up here, to make it easy is go to adjustments, go to desaturate, saturate the image so it's a plain white and gray image. Okay, we can go up to image and we can auto tone the image if we want, brings up some light, or we can auto contrast the image, which pretty much going to be the same thing, and auto color the image is not going to do anything when it's black and white. But all those three, you can play with these, and you can control Z, control shift, or sorry, control alt Z to step back a few times. You can see if I go this time to auto contrast, it's basically going to do the same thing because it's a gray image. Okay, so now that we've got our auto contrast there, brought up a brights, darkened our darks, that's going to look really good when it's time for it to pop. So we need to add some color to it, obviously, because it's not the greatest. Now you can go into levels, brightness and contrast levels, curves, exposure. These are all things that you can play with. Vibrance, hue and saturation, but I would use hue and saturation or the I guess color balance. Those two would be to add some color to it initially. And then just play with the different adjustments and stuff like that to get the colors to where you want them to be. But for this one, we're going to try and keep this short because, again, we're 7 minutes into the tutorial, and we're just trying to give guys guys and girls out there, all you people, a quick idea of how this will work. Okay, so first off, let's go to levels real quick. We're just going to play with the levels up here. As you can see, as I grab this slider here, I can bring in the dark, I can bring the light, and so forth, and I can change the mid-value tones. Okay, as you can see, so depending on what you want, and that should do it across the map, so it should be totally fine to play with. So we're gonna go like somewhere in there, because if you see, that's a lot more richer than it was originally. Somewhere in there, a lot richer. Then maybe it gives a light, but again, this is more even than it was before. So hit OK. We're gonna go back to image adjustment. And this time we're going to go to, let's do color balance so you can see. Okay, so color balance allows you to do midtones, shadows, highlights, preserve your luminosity. I've got preview selected, and you can see here, I can bring some blue into it. I bring some red into it. I'm going to bring some red into it on this side. And then I'm going to bring down here, I'm going to go kind of a little bit towards the magenta. Magenta. It's magneto. But yeah, we're going to go a little bit to the magenta side. So we're going to go down here to the yellow and then bring it down to the yellow side. And as you can see, we start to get more of a yellowy tone in the rocks and somewhat in the white. We can play with this a bit, right? And bring this down here so it gets a little bit more to the blackers, and bring in a little more green, blue, whatever. You know, a little more green in this side, maybe a little more red in this side. You just play with it till you find a tone that you like, a color pattern you like. So bring a lot of green into it, bring a lot of red into it, you get something a lot brighter, you see. So again, you're going to play with this a bit. You can go all the way over. Lots of different combinations you can make. Basically, you're just trying to get something that looks like rock, really. So let's go OK. Hit Control Z. That's what we had before. That's what we have now. Okay, so for the purpose of this here, we're going to, let's see here. Let's go over one more. We're going to adjust this, and we're going to go to our vibrance. And previewing our vibrance, we can change, as you can see. Oh, not too much. Oh, yeah, a little bit. You can see here. going to bring our vibrance up a bit, like plus, I don't know, 20, maybe 25. Or let's say 28. Saturation, bring that up, bring a little more color into it. Hit OK. I'm going to go one more time up to adjustment, and then this time I'm going to go hue and saturation. You know, hue and saturation, I'm showing you guys this one because you can use it in 2 different ways. You can adjust it like so, as it flits. With the saturation all the way through here, and this is give you, like, you know, you can get right to the oranges. You can change the hue of the block to any kind of color you want, but this is a 1 tonal value. And again, since we made this all 1 tonal value, you're going to adjust the whole image by doing this. So let's see, control, let's go 0 in here, 0 in here, and we're going to go to colorize. It's instantly going to add us to the different saturations at the level. We can go in here and add a little more color in here. And this is just going to give it a little more life in this here, as you can see. Just a little bit more life. Now, okay, so in here, what you want to do is, you see as you wash it out, watch this area right here. You see there's a fine line of rock that you can see in the back. You don't want to lose that, but you don't want to, you don't want to darken it too much, and you don't want to lighten it too much. You want to get it right in that space where you can see it, but you still get lots of dark. Right about one more. I think that's about good, because we don't want it to be washed out looking back at us. Okay. And so hue, well, we can do a lot of different hues, but there's not really much of a hue that I like besides the brown tones. This is usually how I do rocks for some reason. I don't know, you can add grays into these. You can, like I said, go and gray tone it. You don't even have to wash it if you don't want to. If you want to play with the colors, you can match. There's lots of different ways and different techniques to do it. For now, we're just going to use this one because this works, actually, you know, what I found quite well in... I'm not getting the right color. That's about good. Okay, so yeah, so we wanted, again, these are rocks. We want them grays and browns and stuff like that. So we've got a good color here, and you can Control Z that. You can see we've toned it down a little bit from brought the values, but we've toned it down from the color or comic color value in a sense that it had here. Okay, so now we're going to take this file here. We're just going to hit File and hit Save, and we're going to right click here, and we're going to go into PNG mode. Or save it as a PNG, block 1 PNG, save. This is going to ask me to replace it. Yes, because I've already saved it. Hit OK. So now we have this versus what our old one was, which was this to this. And this is going to work for a program called Bitmap to Material. And Bitmap to Material is, yeah, it's a really cool program. But yeah, okay. What we're going to do, actually, because we're 12 minutes in and this is going to become a huge file, is I'm going to stop this as it is now. We're going to call this Part A. And then for those of you who haven't done seamless textures before, this shows you how to make seamless textures. You can adjust them, paint them, add more color to it, you know, throw stamp filters on this and all that stuff from over here. You can use a stamp from over here, say, and bring in some sort of other value if you want, you know, some dirt. Bring it up, whatever. That's all possible to do, but we're not going to cover that. That's painting and texturing and tutorial, you know, like Photoshop work, and there's a lot of awesome Photoshop tutorials out there, so we'll let you guys look for that. But for now, what we'll say is we're going to leave this as it is right now. I'm trying to end this here, and I'll bring out a number 2 tutorial, which will cover bitmap to material, or something like Crazy Bump, and allow you guys to show how that works, simply put. And then we'll try and, with that tutorial, quickly pop one out and put it into the Asset Manager, 8 Manager, and get those custom texture settings for you. Okay, so for everybody, thanks for checking out the tutorial. If you like the tutorial, hit the like button. Make sure you subscribe to the channel to see more tutorials, see our preview videos and our playthroughs once our map's almost done. We're working on the last zone, and I can't wait to show you guys. I think it's going to be pretty cool. Working on traversals right now, so zombies will climb up and jump down. A lot of different platforms to be on top of and stuff like that, so it's going to be fun. But anyways, till next time, love you guys. Girls, everybody, you're awesome. Peace. We'll see you then soon. Later.